Welcome, dear audience. In today's modern world, finding a kind, respectful man willing to walk alongside you is not always easy. Many women still find themselves stuck in unclear, undefined relationships, or feeling like they're the ones constantly putting in more effort. And yet, we see some women who don't seem to try too hard, but effortlessly attract the best kind of men. Those who are sincere, mature, and emotionally grounded. So what's their secret? Is it their appearance, luck, or some kind of special charm? The answer lies in their mindset and the internal habits they cultivate daily. Right now, let's explore 4 powerful habits that naturally create the magnetic energy of these women. Habits that not only help them attract high-quality love, but also build a fulfilling, grounded life from within. 1. Staying firm with personal standards and boundaries. One of the most powerful traits that make a woman deeply attractive to kind, emotionally mature men is her unwavering commitment to her personal standards and boundaries in love. She doesn't fall in love impulsively or let fleeting emotions completely override her logic. To her, a relationship is not just a connection between two people. It is a journey that requires clarity, self-respect, and consistency with her identity. She enters love with a clear mindset: to love, but never lose herself; to open her heart, but never abandon her boundaries. Her principles aren't a list of harsh demands or unrealistic expectations. They reflect how she sees her worth. They serve as the foundation that helps her distinguish between a healthy, meaningful relationship and one that's shallow, short-lived, or based on convenience. Her non-negotiables, the boundaries she refuses to compromise, may be simple, but they are deeply meaningful. Absolute honesty, mutual commitment, emotional presence, not just physical availability, and the basic human need to feel heard and respected in every word and action. These standards are not set to test anyone, but rather to remind herself that love should never be built on one-sided compromise or silent sacrifices that go unreciprocated. Even in moments of loneliness, when she longs for a shoulder to lean on or feels emotionally vulnerable, she still refuses to lower her standards just to have someone by her side. Because she knows that any relationship that is not rooted in shared values will eventually erode her self-respect and steal away the inner peace she has worked so hard to build. That clarity and inner steadiness make her attractive to men. They help her attract the right kind of man. A man who respects those qualities in her, who doesn't try to cross her boundaries, but instead feels grateful to be invited into such a genuine, mature, and meaningful relationship. When she enters a relationship, she isn't swept away by impulsive emotions or reactive behavior. What sets her apart is the calm and mindful way she responds. She doesn't rush to chase, interrogate, or cling when faced with silence, inconsistency, or unclear signals from the other person. She knows that true clarity doesn't come from forcing answers out of someone, but from being honest with herself and having the courage to face the truth and make decisions that honor her own worth. She also doesn't waste her time justifying unworthy behavior. Instead of trying to make sense of someone's vague or inconsistent actions, she focuses on a more important question: am I staying true to my values and self-respect? She doesn't try to become good enough to be loved, because she deeply understands this truth. The right person will show up with intention and will never make her question her place in their life. That unwavering clarity isn't just a sign of inner strength. It's a silent message she sends out into the world. I know what I deserve, and I'm not afraid to walk away when it's not there. 2. She knows her worth. One of the most striking and magnetic qualities of women who attract high-quality men is their deep, confident awareness of their worth. They don't need to declare, "I deserve to be loved," nor do they seek attention by creating drama or trying to impress. Their allure doesn't come from flashy appearances or efforts to win others over. It stems from a quiet inner strength, a clear sense of self, the ability to feel whole even when alone, and the confidence to set healthy emotional boundaries. A woman like this doesn't enter love begging to be chosen, chasing validation, or compromising who she is to keep someone interested. She refuses to play the role of a backup option, and she doesn't settle for love that feels half-hearted or forced. To her, love isn't something to be fought for, nor is it something one must make work at all costs. It is a natural alignment between two emotionally mature souls who know how to give, respect, and meet each other halfway. She's discerning enough to distinguish between genuine sincerity and empty, sweet words. She's not swayed by promises that aren't backed by consistent actions, superficial affection, habitual gestures, or someone who shows up physically but is emotionally absent. None of that has a place in her inner world. Because she knows that real love is a conscious choice made daily, it requires emotional investment, presence, and commitment shown through words, actions, and follow-through. This clarity and refusal to compromise makes her stand out in the eyes of high-quality men. They don't see desperation in her. They see calm, self-assured grace. What draws them in isn't her compliance, but the quiet strength of a woman who kindly holds her ground. She knows how to love deeply, yet never loses herself in the process. And when the right man comes along, he won't try to change her. Instead, he'll feel lucky to be part of her life. A woman like her knows how to love deeply, while still honoring her values, without needing to prove anything to anyone. More importantly, she isn't fooled by excuses like, "Everyone gets busy," "Men just aren't good at expressing emotions," or "A woman should be patient to keep the relationship." She knows that real love isn't built on unconditional self-sacrifice or the loss of identity. It's built on mutual respect, emotional maturity, and two people walking side by side as equals. Her confidence isn't loud or showy. It's steady, calm, and radiates from within. The kind of confidence that turns heads simply by her presence. She doesn't need to prove she's good enough to be loved. She knows without a doubt that she already is. And real love will never ask her to become someone else in order to be accepted. So when a man shows inconsistency, texting only when it's convenient, appearing only when he has free time, avoiding clear commitment, she doesn't cling or keep giving him one more chance, only to end up hurting herself. She's strong enough to walk away quietly, but with dignity, because she understands that staying in hopes that someone might change is the fastest way to lose sight of her worth. Her self-awareness and self-respect are her anchors, the firm foundation that guides her decisions, not based on fleeting emotions, but on an unshakable belief. I deserve a love that is clear and whole, and if it's not that, I choose the peace of my solitude. 3. She believes she is the prize and acts like it. One of the most powerful and lasting qualities of women who attract kind, emotionally mature men is their unwavering belief that they are valuable, and they live each day as someone who deeply knows it. But this belief doesn't stem from arrogance or a distant attitude of, "No one is good enough for me." It comes from a long journey of self-discovery, emotional scars, lessons learned through tears, and the quiet resilience of never giving up on becoming the best version of herself. This woman doesn't wait for someone else to validate her worth, because she knows her value doesn't come from how others see her. It comes from how she treats herself daily, how she nurtures her inner peace, tends to her soul, and dares to say no to anything that doesn't align with her standards. She doesn't sit around hoping for someone to love her, nor does she live in a state of waiting to be chosen, as if love is a prize only granted to the lucky few. To her, love isn't about a desperate need to be accepted. It's about walking alongside someone who has already come to understand themselves, someone mature enough not to hurt others out of their inner emptiness. She doesn't seek love to fill a void, but to share the fullness she has patiently cultivated within herself. She knows with certainty that when you align with your values, you naturally attract others to do the same. The man she's looking for doesn't show up to save her or make her life meaningful. Her life is already whole. He comes simply to walk beside her to build something even more beautiful. A relationship where both are free, equal, and choosing each other every day. Not out of lack, but out of abundance, of love, of understanding, of inner peace. That's why, when faced with relationships that are unclear, half-hearted, or disrespectful of her boundaries, she's not afraid to say no, even if that means continuing her journey alone. She understands that being alone is not a failure. Sometimes, it's the most precious season. A time to listen to her own heart, care for her soul, and expand the depth of her inner world. Her inner calm, quiet pride, and unspoken confidence create a unique kind of presence, an energy that commands respect and attraction. Interestingly, this magnetic quality doesn't just draw in men. It extends into her career, social circles, and the opportunities that naturally gravitate toward her. The doors open for her aren't due to luck. They open because she knows she's worthy, and she walks through them with intention, maturity, and wholeness. She doesn't need to be chased to feel valuable, because the way she carries herself, with her back straight, head held high, and eyes clear and steady, already says everything. I am who I am, and I don't need to change that to be more lovable. 4. She maintains her identity and personal life. One of the most compelling qualities of a mature, grounded woman is her ability to preserve her individuality and protect her world, whether she's in a relationship or living a single life. She doesn't let love define who she is. She knows that true worth doesn't come from having someone beside her. Still, from the wholeness she's built within, the passions that give her purpose, the principles she's chosen and stayed loyal to, and the depth of soul she's nurtured through life experiences, reading, learning, and listening deeply to herself. In love, she doesn't choose to give up the things that make her who she is. Not her passions, nor her close relationships, just to please the man she loves. To her, real love should never ask someone to shrink themselves to fit into another person's life. If a relationship requires her to lose herself, it's no longer love, a painful compromise. She longs for a relationship where both partners are free to be fully themselves, where mutual respect, inspiration, and growth are the foundation. She also doesn't try to become the so-called ideal woman in someone else's eyes. She doesn't mold herself to fit a social standard or to match a version of what men are told to desire. She lives authentically, with sincerity, clarity, and freedom. She knows that true, lasting attraction doesn't come from constantly trying to please others, but staying consistent with her identity. And that's what creates her unique kind of beauty. A beauty that doesn't need to shout, yet is powerful enough to make others pause and quietly admire. Even without a man by her side, her life still feels whole. She knows how to savor quiet mornings alone, tune into her emotions, and create joy from the simplest things. A good book, a peaceful cup of coffee, or a day spent fully immersed in her passions. She doesn't live to be loved by someone else. She lives to love herself daily, with kindness, gentleness, and conscious care. And that's exactly why she doesn't need to try to be attractive. Her allure radiates effortlessly from the fullness within her, from the calm in her soul, from the clarity in her eyes that shows she knows exactly where she is and where she's going. That's the energy that draws in a mature man, not because she needs him, but because she chooses him from a place of inner abundance. And precisely that independence and authenticity draw in truly high-quality men. Because a mature man who knows how to love isn't looking for a woman to possess. He's looking for someone to walk beside him. He has no desire to mold or change her to fit his ideal. Instead, he respects her for exactly who she is. her strengths, and the quiet corners of her soul that no one else sees. With her, he feels inspired. He feels challenged, not in a way that threatens him, but in a way that calls him to rise, grow, and become a better version of himself. A woman who truly attracts good men doesn't do so by trying to be loved. She attracts them because she doesn't need to try. Love comes to her not through relentless pursuit or efforts to please others, but through the calm, grounded, and consistent way she lives her life. She doesn't seek attention to feel valuable or rely on praise to believe she's worthy of love. Instead, she simply lives in alignment with what she believes in, gently, firmly, deeply, and without needing to prove herself. She knows exactly what matters most in life and in love. She understands that a genuine relationship is not a place where self-respect is traded for the feeling of being loved, but a space where two people can be fully themselves, growing together, supporting one another, without sacrificing their core identity. That's why she never rushes into relationships just to fill a void, and she refuses to place herself in a position of emotional dependence. She's intentional about who she allows into her life, because she honors herself first. Her attractiveness doesn't lie in flashy looks or charming words. It comes from the peace that radiates from within. It's in confidence behind her gaze, how she listens without judgment, and how she remains true to herself, whether in love or life. That kind of presence creates a quiet but powerful energy that draws kind, emotionally aware men in, making them feel compelled to be near her, and, most of all, safe in her presence. Because to her, love is not about filling a void. It's about meeting two whole souls. A truly mature man won't just love her. He will cherish every little part of her, her independence, unwavering values, and the heart that knows how to love the right way and the right person.